Welcome to the NPTE Final Frontier podcast, helping one student at a time. Visit NPTEFF.com to enroll today so you can pass tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us here on the NPTE Final Frontier podcast. My name is Emily.
And my name is David. Today will be the introduction to our myth-busting series. During this series, we'll be covering common myths surrounding the NPTE. Emily and I have traveled far and wide. We have went to the top of Mount Everest to find all of this information and get to the bottom of it. So now let's get to the bottom of it on this episode. And here is our first myth.
So today we will be myth busting. I can't exercise, I must study. So this is a common thought that many students have while preparing for the NPTE. And David, I think we got to get right down to the bottom of this. What are our thoughts on this topic?
Oh man, I feel like this is a myth that I have heard from so many students, and I have even told myself this myth many times. I told myself, David, if you have time to get to that gym, you have time to exercise, then you have time to be studying. And if you don't do well, then guess what? You brought that onto yourself because you chose to exercise instead of studying.
I'm completely the same. I remember as a student, I felt guilty when I tried to devote time for myself for things besides studying. But honestly, exercising is one of the best things you can do to help promote your studying habits. When studying, you need stress relief and you need to maintain your health. And exercising is one of the best ways to do so. David, how would you say exercise can help maintain health and stress relief?
I think that it's so beneficial because not only the underlying metabolic aspects to it, but the mental health aspect of getting out there and exercising is so valuable. Instead of allowing yourself to bottle all of that emotion up inside of you, you are going to want to burst. This is a highly stressful, high anxiety, unbelievable roller coaster full of ups and downs. You need to be able to find a way to let all of that out, or you will be bottling all of that up inside of you, and that is not healthy, and you deserve better.
With that being said, exercise and physical exertion also has been clinically proven to help with brain stimulation and improving your overall mood and gives you a sense of an energy boost or an emotional lift. So if that's not reason enough to want to get into exercising because it really can help promote your study strategies, I don't know what else is a good enough reason.
I totally agree with you. So when you were doing your studying, and also when you speak to students, how do you suggest to them that they fit all of this exercise into their schedule?
So I always say it's different for each person. You just need to come up with a study strategy and a plan. So, of course, your primary concern is studying and making time to prepare for the NPTE, as it should be. But it's also important to factor in time for other things during your day-to-day routine. So I always say find an amount of time that works best for you. Some people can put aside, 15 to 20 minutes of exercise. Other people want to put aside an hour. There's no right or wrong amount of time to put aside for things like exercising. So you just need to find what works best for you and make sure you factor it into your study plan ahead of time. So the time is already allotted for exercise. So you're not stressed about trying to find time in your already busy schedule. Now, whether you decide the morning, the afternoon, the evening, whenever you feels best for you to exercise, that's okay to have a different approach.
And you may not find that approach right off the start of everything. I know for myself, I had to change that approach many times. At the start of it, I wanted to do all the exercise in the beginning of the day, right when I woke up. But then I found myself that that wasn't really how I wanted to get started because I had my examination start at 8 a.m. If I was going to be in the gym that early on, I wanted to do something that was going to be actually exam day setting. So instead, I started to do it after I started to study more towards the evening when there's a lot less people in the gym too. But I found that going in the evening was so much more beneficial for me after that change because it allowed me to let off all of that steam and stress from the day. How about you? When did you choose?
So it's funny you say that. I actually tried to initially start exercising in the mornings as well because I normally prefer to exercise in the morning when I'm not studying or preparing for an exam. However, I've also noticed the mornings are the most productive time for me. So I actually wanted to put aside time later in the day for exercise so I could focus my mornings around studying because that's when I was able to retain the most information and get the most done in terms of checking things off my to-do list for study items. So saving time later on in the day to exercise when I was already kind of mentally fatigued and a little bit more not really ready to retain information was better for me to exercise at that point. Now, with
Hey,
exercise, I think another important thing for us to mention is exercise looks different for everyone. When we say exercise, David, you mentioned you like to go to the gym. Now, that's a great form of exercise. For me, I like to go outside and go on a run. But other people, exercise may look like taking a yoga class. For someone else, it may look like bringing their dog on a walk. There are so many different types and forms of exercise. And whatever your form is, find what works best for you.
and we pretty much touched upon it, but find a way to fit this into your schedule because a good way that can help you in getting this into your schedule is to view it as part of your actual study schedule. As in, this is going to help give you more energy to continue. This is going to be a part of your studying because it's going to help you relieve that stress to give you that extra energy. So there is so much beneficial things to getting that exercise in there. So please make sure that you are not putting off exercising, especially for those reasons that we discussed today.
Now, with that being said, you may be in the middle of your study preparations and you may be saying, well, is it too late for me to start exercising now? Or how often should I be exercising? It is never too late to start exercising. Doesn't matter how far into studying you are, it's always okay to put time aside for you. Like we said several times, it's just about finding time in your schedule, which means planning ahead. Now, you don't have to exercise every day. Everyone has their own amount of days to exercise. Maybe yours is 2 to 3 times per week, or maybe yours is finding time every day. There's no right or wrong answer. So, as you're going to see throughout this episode, we've said a lot of things over and over again. Things like everyone has their own approach, or there's no right or wrong answer, or it's never too late to get started. And those are really the take home messages we want you to take from this episode is that it's okay to put time aside for you and to focus on your general health through things like exercise. And it's never too late to get started. And there's no specific way this needs to look. Find what works best for you, do your best, and that's all you can do. And we're proud of you for that.
After all of that, it is safe to say myth busted. I can't exercise, I must study. Busted. Here is a quote from John Cena. If you don't learn from your mistakes, then they become regrets. So no matter what, keep on learning from your mistakes. Keep on making mistakes. Do not be scared to make those mistakes. Learn from them and grow from them. If you do not take that opportunity to learn from them, then you will regret doing so because you will duplicate that mistake. You are powerful. You are strong. You are a final frontier warrior. You will pass.
Thank you very much for listening. For more information on the NPTE, please visit npteff.com. You can also check out all of our social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
Till next time, have a great day and a powerful tomorrow.